Good afternoon. Today's topic is about red flags we want to help you avoid in the first place when it's about employment-based sponsorship cases. So this video it can be, or this live show can be for employers, it can be for entrepreneur or human resources, and and also for employees, or maybe you're a college graduate or you're in college right now, your master's program, and you want to be sponsored. So some things you need to consider. Okay. And by the way, folks, you're welcome to comment down below. All right. Happy to answer any questions possible. I'm also live on LinkedIn. So, so LinkedIn, I'm usually on for about 10, 15 minutes. And then for some reason you find us on LinkedIn, you want to jump on other channels, we'll continue live on YouTube, greencardguys.tv, TikTok, and Instagram. So pick the platform of your choice, of course. So on LinkedIn, let's talk about this. Okay, focus on employment-based cases for this topic of today. Number one, if you want some kind of work visa, the most common one, okay, for a college graduate, all right, or someone has a degree, is H-1B. You may have heard of this because it's the most common. However, the restriction in that is it's typically for subject to the cap, which aside from all this legal terminology, generally speaking, there's a registration um, in March, the first couple of weeks of March. And they find out if you've been selected out of the lottery. They don't call it that anymore, but it really is a lottery. They claim it's random. So that's at the end of March. And they don't actually file the application until the end of June. So the reason I'm sharing this is because some people could be confused to say that, oh, do I need my degree or do I need to walk the stage by the time it's been March? And no, that's not reasonable, right? That's not necessary. You don't have to have the degree in hand by March when you're registered. Now, of course, the assumption is a safe assumption is that the intention is that you're going to be you will graduate by May, for example. Okay, because not everyone graduates by December of the prior year. So that's something to consider. So we always make sure with the employee candidate to let us know when exactly they're going to get that degree in hand. But for example, we've had a couple cases where they walked the stage, but they weren't actually able to get a copy of the degree for whatever reason until it was really close. Either it was either really close to the end of June or it was like right after. So if that happens, it's okay. We would just manage client expectations, say, expect to receive a request for evidence. All right. Don't let that, because if the USCIS doesn't have specific evidence that they normally ask for, you just have to be ready to provide it. But, so it doesn't go straight to denial. Fortunately not. All right. So here's the deal. By the way, one of the ways that we like to, if you want to access one of our attorneys for a strategy session at no cost to you, again, whether you're the employee, the candidate, or the company, or you're maybe even thinking about a family sponsorship case, we're happy to help. Or investor based. Okay, the best way to do that on YouTube, LinkedIn, you can see the number right here. Give us a call. Our physical office is in Houston, but post pandemic, or even before pandemic, we have utilized video conferencing. Okay, and no, not Skype. We use Dialpad, so it's very easy. You don't have to meet us in person, but we do have one in Houston, Texas. All right, another red flag, okay, that many people don't really think about, of course, until I don't want to say too late, but later in the down the line is about, you might say that, oh, my company wants to sponsor me. That's great. Well, how long have you been working for that company and what position? And we also want to make sure, well, how long have you been actually, what is that position that you're going to be sponsored for? Is it exactly the same position that you're working right now? And the deal is, because there's a rule that says you can't have more than 50% of the experience required for that position per the company's job posting if you got that experience from the same company, right? So now look, if you've been working for a company in a quote unquote lower position, but then the position that they're going to sponsor you for is a different position, you could say, like, I don't know, junior level to senior level, then that that can work, right? But a lot of people call in, inquire, and say, "Oh, can I get sponsored?" I mean, they don't ask this, but ultimately, that's what one of the things that we ask to verify. And so many HR companies, entrepreneurs, startups, founders, um, most people don't care. They're just like, "How do we get this person sponsored?" Right? They really care about the candidate. They've interviewed so many other people, and this person is what they believe top notch. They're qualified, right? In their opinion. So so the third tip here is there's a huge difference between minimum qualifications versus preferred qualifications. I learned this through actually volunteering with City of Dallas when I volunteered for a civil service board, and we reviewed, helped look at the this basically minimum qualifications, and essentially civil service board in with cities is typically like pretty much like HR, essentially, even before HR, help setting up job postings and things like that, among other things. So, anyways, just having read so many different job postings and through Team Law Group, of course, our clients, most companies have a pretty shoddy job description when you compare it to what's industry standard. Not saying it's shoddy in terms of with respect to immigration. So that's part of what we help with, right? Making sure it's in line with industry standard and making sure, of course, that's what the company wants. We're not supposed to, legally not supposed to, customize it only for that applicant, the person you're trying to sponsor. Not supposed to do that. So if industry wide, it's like, okay, we need supposed to be 2 years experience, but the company wants 5-year experience, then that's I don't recommend that. Or it could be the reverse. If industry standard, like an executive position, needs 5-year experience, but you're like, no, that like 1 year experience is good enough. Like that's not going to fly either. So, but our legal team will talk with you about that. But anyway, that's pretty much it in terms of the red flags and things you need to consider if you're considering to be sponsored or your company is considering to sponsor others. All right. All right. So now I'm going to answer some questions. I don't see anything on LinkedIn, so we're going to hop off from there. But I appreciate it. By the way, so folks, in the meantime, you can access our strategy session for 15 minutes, no cost to you, if you do a couple things. All right. We recommend, if you're at a computer and you have time, go to our website, greencardguys.com, click on Contact Us, click on option 1 to access that free 15 minutes. Now, if you want to be prioritized to some extent, please share this secret code, VISA. Okay. Secret code today is VISA. Could have probably guessed it, but today's code is VISA. And the deal is that we don't offer it automatically for free. But, for example, if someone just couldn't make it to an appointment and you would like to be bumped up for us to speak with you earlier, that's one of the reasons why a secret code is helpful. Also, keep in mind that we don't offer free for everyone just because sheer numbers, it's just not humanly possible. So anyways, but yeah, you can go to greencardguys.com and fill out the form, answer just a couple questions, and they'll make it much faster for you. All right, so I'm going to hop off LinkedIn real quick. Okay, thanks, LinkedIn folks. All right, let's get down to TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, folks. I see some questions. How are you, Naomi? Nice to see you again. I think I recognize your name. Okay, now to TikTok, some questions. How long would it take if someone married a green card holder for paper? Depends on a lot of things. Actually, I think I just had this question earlier today in the strategy session. Number one is the person who's the beneficiary. Are they here in the United States or if they are in the United States, they need to maintain non-immigrant status. So for example, like a student visa while you're going through this process. Now, if the person's abroad, then it's definitely going to take longer. Okay, because right now the September visa bulletin is the one upcoming. It's already been released, posted on the website, government website, and it shows September 2023, and we're not even September. So basically it's current. Okay, so that's something to consider if you're a resident holder that's going to sponsor. So that's just the background, but it could, If it's marriage-based case and that beneficiary foreign national is in the United States, then definitely less than 12 months. Sorry, I shouldn't say definitely. Lawyers don't like to guarantee, but if it's a marriage case, the trend in general, if it's current, then it's 3 to 5 months. Okay. Party of six, what's up? You're a U.S. citizen. Your mom is here on a B2 visa. You petition for her. Can she go back home, or does she have to stay, or can she stay? Since you're a U.S. citizen, you're over 21, you file a petition. People who are in your situation, we've had many success stories, especially for the parents. The parents able to stay in the United States, and yes, overstay. I know a lot of y'all don't like to talk about that. I know a lot of y'all don't want to violate immigration laws. I get it. Fortunately, and by the way, Party of Six, if you want to DM us the secret code visa, will and ask for the policy manual that talks about this, because we like to share it. And basically, I think it's chapter 8 is the inapplicability of restrictions or bars to adjustment, immediate relative classification or category is one of those. So your mom can overstay. All right, Party of Six. Riz Hyder. Sorry, everyone, if I mispronounce your username, I apologize. Options after having your asylum case dismissed by immigration judge. So I don't practice asylum, but in general, the talk, at least the past year, was that you should refile your asylum application. I could be wrong, so let me double check with one of my colleagues, about that. If you have to do that, or if your application is retained with USCIS. All right, that was a hot topic last year because, of course, PD was brought back up again. I mean, it was always active. H-1B transfer. So DM us, okay? Hyder, I think that was your name, and we'll get back to you. H-1B transfer submitted. How long until you receive the receipt notice? Oh, okay. Transfer submitted. We just did one for another client, and it was about 3 weeks. Okay, it usually takes 3 weeks in general. So if you're trying to, however, keep in mind you don't actually have to wait until you I mean, most people, of course, want to wait until you receive the receipt notice, but actually it's the date on the receipt notice. So if you want to try to time it right, because people always ask, well, when can I start working for the other company legally? And that is a date on the receipt notice. So if you want to try to time it right, like typically the day they receive it if you want to calculate 1 or 2 days after the receive date by mail, like FedEx or USPS, maybe you could do it that way. But yeah, because the day you actually receive the receipt notice, the receipt date is going to be typically the delivery date. Now, keep in mind, if your package was delivered and it was like, generally speaking, anything after 12 p.m., we don't count that day, right? In terms of like if employer clients want us to help guesstimate when to start working for the next company. Anyway, hopefully that helps. Spicy crab ragoon. You just got 765 combo approved. What else to do? What else to do? I mean, chill, basically. I mean, if it's a marriage case, then hopefully you get your approval on that sooner than later. So yeah, if it's a marriage-based case and you believe, I mean, I think most people know that if they gave sufficient evidence or not, but if you didn't provide sufficient evidence then to show that you're in a marriage relationship. Now, I'm not talking about the marriage certificate. That's obvious. You have to provide that. Or at least for some people it's obvious, but some people think that's enough. Like that's just one of several documents you didn't provide. So what I'm talking about right now is if you can get your interview waived, because you asked what's the next step, right? So and also spicy crab ragoon, you want to ask, well, did you file the medical exam? So that's something to keep note. If you didn't file it with the medical exam, the 693 in a sealed envelope, then you need to be ready to do that. Okay, that would be the next thing. Hopefully that helps. So maybe shouldn't chill out. So it just depends. It's Professor Lila. Can having a special needs child help someone from being deported? It could if that someone, maybe your significant other, is is eligible for cancellation or removal. Okay, because something like information like a special needs child could be helpful for hardship standard. So for cancellation for non-permanent residents, so which is most people, then it's a pretty high standard, exceptionally and extremely unusual hardship standard. It's freaking ridiculous. But yes, that could certainly help. But yeah, one of the requirements, other requirements, that's really the first question we ask is, have you been in America for 10 years before he or she received the notice to appear in court? Okay. Other things that can stop the time is what we call it. Stop the clock for those 10 years is if certain crimes were committed. All right. So um, that could stop the time a lot earlier. Anyways, are you a U.S. citizen? As a U.S. citizen, what's the process to apply for a family member to visit you? Um, we don't handle visitor visas. So if you're only talking about visitor visa, it just, I mean, I've heard of people saying, oh, you need to provide like some kind of support letter or something that, um, I think the key thing here is that you need to provide, or the person who's applying for a visitor visa needs to somehow demonstrate that that person is going to return to their own country, okay, to prevent overstay. So, which, by the way, hot tip, or if you're considering to get married and the person's abroad, before you get married, not trying to delay your marriage date, but see if you can apply for a visitor visa first. Because I know a lot of people have been asking us, oh, we're married now. Can I apply for a visitor visa? Yes, no, the government's not going to stop you. They love your money. I think it's $160. But anyway, they love accepting your money. They're not going to stop you from applying. But I know you guys are asking, well, is it even possible to be approved? It's more likely to be approved before you get married, because if the application shows that you're married, which of course you need to tell the truth, then they're likely going to deny you because they want to prevent any overstay. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea. Spieltini, you're a citizen, husband overstay. We're filing for filing visa. Can we travel domestic or international? So, great question. Well, first, want to make sure your husband enter with a visa, right, to begin with, because then you can adjust status in America. If not, then you need to apply for a waiver, or he does. But can you travel? Yeah, domestically, you just need to keep in mind only avoid the borders. Okay, so there is a law that says there can be customs can set up a border checkpoint within 100 miles of international border. So, for example, like in New York, avoid Buffalo. Do not even think about Niagara Falls. I know y'all think that's lovely, but go visit after you become a resident. Okay, or like y'all want to go get some tacos in San Diego. Yeah, avoid San Diego. It's like literally Tijuana. So it's just like across the street. So yeah, don't do that. But we have had a client that actually several clients, like a similar situation where they're traveling from the Grand Canyon in Arizona, traveling back to Texas, and they intended to go on the, I guess you can say, like the higher, more north highway back to like the Dallas area, but there was construction or something for whatever reason, or accident. It forced them to go south, and it came across the border checkpoint. So it got referred to ICE, and fortunately we got that stopped and all that. So fortunately, he doesn't have to go to even ICE appointments anymore. So yeah, just a little tidbit. But actually, when I went to law school in New York, they said we had some clients that were in a Greyhound bus in Buffalo, and they got taken out of the bus just because, just inherently, unfortunately, it was in our belief, it's a violation of Fourth Amendment rights because they didn't feel like they were free to leave. And then you think about it, like if a customs officer or just any human is in the aisle of the bus, you're not going to be able to like reasonably just walk out, right? Because that person is blocking the way. I mean, of course, the person's going to wiggle around or move around, but imagine, is someone going to walk across from walk next to a customs officer and try to avoid them? Pretty sure they're going to be fearful, intimidated, and not believe they're able to leave. So those are the cases we had in law school as well. Very sad to hear about. because those are uphill battles, even though it was a violation of the rights. All right, Karen. Typically, how long does it take to get interview date overseas? Let's see here. Okay, so interview date, it depends on what stage of the case you're at, but man, generally speaking, regardless of country, it's about at least a year and a half to 2 years process. So that's what I was saying about the visitor visa, and if that's possible, if for others at least that haven't married yet. All right. Because I'm a lawyer, of course, I'm not condoning any overstay. Okay, just sharing past case experience. I think you can read between the lines. What forms should someone fill out to integrate an old parent? Doesn't have to be an old parent. In U.S., when they have only green card. When they only have green card, are you talking about the adult child having only green card? Well, the adult child has to be a U.S. citizen first. But in terms of first step, usually for family sponsorship is the I-130 petition. Okay, and actually these documents are usually in the instructions that say who is eligible to file and who is not eligible to file, which is smart. Even though I would think they want to accept your fees. How long does it usually take to get forgiveness approved? Okay, I think you're talking about the waiver application. Unfortunately, the USCIS processing timetable shows 44 months as of when I checked last week. And yeah, it keeps increasing almost like every month. And for one extent, I think they just don't have enough personnel, people filing, because of just sheer numbers. More people in America came to America without documentation. I'm just speaking anecdotally. I don't have any data, but there are also a lot of people that have overstayed their visa, which conservatives tend to forget about that. So it's kind of interesting. But don't give up. If you're ready to file your case, that's completely fine. But it's been a year, you can actually file a lawsuit, okay, for mandamus. I know a lot of people say, no, I'm just going to stick out. I'm going to wait at least 3 years, see what happens. Well, and then people also ask, well, do I have to wait and wait to file a lawsuit until after the timing that shows on the processing timetable online? No, you don't. This is just based on reasonable timeline that we believe. Now, we're not going to cut USCIS some slack and say, oh, you don't have enough employees working on these cases. Oh, that's cool. No, we'll take your time. Yeah, take your time. No, hell no. This is based on unreasonable delay. So you absolutely have the right to sue. All right. So waiver application, it's not the U.S. citizen that signs the application, it's the foreign national, the immigrant. So yes, they have the right to sue. And I know some of y'all heard about the class action lawsuit for waiver applications. I think it's out in California. Class action in general tend to have a slower process just because there's many legal procedure steps that need to be done, like having a class certified. But think about it. I know a lot of lawyers want to change policy and things like that, but just realistically, USCIS doesn't have that many employees, right? They lost a lot of people even before the pandemic, really, I believe, through the Trump years. But yeah, so I recommend file a lawsuit individually, not with a class action. I mean, if you're already in a class action, that's you can stay with that class action. Not trying to tell you to get out of that class, but yeah, for those who are considering, oh, should I join a class action or not? Yeah, just think about it this way. USCIS is more willing to help people when it's one at a time, in a sense, for better or worse. If they know, like, oh shoot, the government knows, like, oh, this class action includes like 100 plus people, they're going to be scared. They don't have enough people to approve it. So if the judge says, oh, the judge is less likely going to say, oh, USCIS, you need to approve your case in their case in 2 months, but there's like 100 plus people. That's likely not going to happen. So anyway, Roy Toy, 3 out of status F1 for 3 years. Can you reapply as a tourist from outside? Well, even if you I don't know. So you're saying from outside. So are you outside America? So depends. You can always apply for the DS-160 as a tourist, but it depends on, then you would need to be eligible for a non-immigrant visa waiver. All right. And you may not need it if it's been over 3 years. If you're saying, if you, I mean, it depends how long you overstayed. It could be a 3-year bar or 10-year bar. All right, how long does it take? And I'm getting questions from everywhere: YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. Um, so you're welcome to ask wherever, whatever platform you're using. By the way, folks, if you're just now joining, welcome. My name is John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states of America. We do have an office, physical office in Houston, Texas. We're here to help solve your immigration problems by sharing success stories, red flags, things you should avoid, things you should know in general. So essentially, we're trying to help you prevent problems, really, okay, at the end of the day. And so we do offer a strategy session consultation for 15 minutes. For most people, no cost to you, okay? There's no fee. However, you need to be qualified, okay, legally speaking, all right? Because some people are like just grasping for straws, I guess you could say. Like, what status can I be eligible for? You don't have a sponsor, you don't have a sponsor, a company to sponsor you. You may not have a family member sponsor you. So like automatically those people I'm sorry, we can't help you because we have limited time. But we're working on other programs like courses that can give you some idea, not just idea, but some examples on how to build up your profile for employers to help sponsor you, especially for self-petitions. So stay tuned on that. All right. I do see a comment on YouTube. So Tracy, welcome to the show. After someone's divorced in the US, how long after can they get married again? You have other questions too. So if you have other questions, Tracy, welcome to give us a call so we can answer all at once. Because I usually on the show, try to be on the show only 30 minutes. Oh, wow, it's almost 30 minutes already. But it depends on the state. Okay, step number one for you, Tracy, or anyone who's going through divorces and you're considering to remarry, maybe not right now, but in general, is step number one. In Texas, you have to wait 30 days. Now, if your divorce is still pending, what we've done in the past, and I've asked my colleagues, is that we added a clause, which is allowed, at least in Texas, to waive the 30 days. Basically, we call it a cooling off period. And then some people might ask, okay, well, for Tracy purposes in your situation, like, well, we've had some clients say, well, I really want to get married and I really want to file my new spouse's case ASAP. We usually recommend to wait a little bit, just in the sense that we don't want USCIS officer to think like, oh, this, your spouse is like in a hurry to file it. All right. But realistically, it's also about building up the evidence of what we call bona fide marriage to show that what have you done internally, like joint bank account, but externally, like if you use social media, WhatsApp, things like that, or just pictures with family and friends. How do you show the world that you're spouse and spouse? Which, by the way, folks, I say it that way because, or partners, to be gender neutral, because I am not trying to get canceled for saying the wrong gender. Man, some people are hard on people who are just get it incorrectly on accident. Anyway, try to be mindful of all that. Tracy said the person is in New York State who's being divorced. Okay, so it sounds like maybe that's for your buddy or something. Yeah, I was actually texting out my immigration lawyer friend who's in New York, so I'll ask her if she knows how long, if they have a cooling off period as well. Okay, let's see here. By the way, folks, so the secret code for today's show is VISA, VISA. So share that code. You could DM us or share it when you give us a call, or fill out the form on the online website. I think probably that question says like, tell us about your case. You could put the code at the top. Okay. I just want to give you all some extra exclusive benefits since we do get calls from referrals and things like that. All right. May I still be able to file work permit under TPS? And you already got approved by TPS 3 months ago. Yeah, if you, for some reason, if you file for TPS, it's usually 821 form, but with also the 765. I know it's ridiculous. They make you file two forms. So typically you file at the same time, but it's it's not a negative thing if you didn't. So then you need to provide proof of your TPS approval with your 765 application. Okay. Hopefully that helps you. Tasha 15, Tasha, had your medical and mailed it last month. Will the wait still be months or is it moving quicker? Well, I mean, our case experience has been we've been I'll repeat myself. Very fortunate that after we mailed it in, got delivered, we've noticed that they got approved very quickly. Now, I'm not trying to promise just because people had a lawyer that you got approved quickly and it showed online as well. But I mean, there's been others that have commented on our live shows that they've had to wait a couple months. So, but there's no strict timetable on that. But it's not a negative thing. I mean, hopefully you don't have to wait too long. Let's see here. But I know maybe some people ask that question because you're trying to get ready for traveling abroad, things like that. So I get it, but I just try maybe buy a refundable ticket or something like that. Wasi, sorry, I just missed a comment. Maria, if you can put that up after I answer this one. I filed I-130 November last year. I want to file for AOS, but your 864 is not ready. Should I file with others, which is ready? No, I would wait. If you're trying to get the interview waived, then the best case scenario is just wait until you get the 864 ready. So I'm actually interested. A lot of people delay with they're filing their case because maybe I'm not saying you don't understand actually the 864, but some people are like, if you're waiting because you're trying to get a joint sponsor, but you might be eligible based on using your assets. Okay. So I do have a video on YouTube talking about those different options if you're tired of waiting for your joint sponsor, which by the way, the joint sponsor can be a citizen or a resident, conditional resident, permanent resident. But the thing is, if you had to pick between like two friends or strangers, it can't be a stranger. You don't have to be buddies with them. But I get it. You're going to share some personal information. Pick the person who has less family members, okay? Because family members' dependence is a consideration. Okay, Wasi, you filed I-130 November last year, but still not received biometrics. How long does it take? Yeah, that's weird. Well, if you file I-130 only, then you don't get the biometrics notice. But if you file I-130 with other forms like the 485 or 765, then yes, you will get the biometrics because anyway, hopefully that helps. Okay. Hey, Ashley, thanks for the roses. I really, really appreciate it. I've been seeing after the show, I've been getting like 50 cents here and there. So I really, really appreciate it. Now I can understand. There's some live shows. I haven't seen it. Like people are like doing all these movements and like eating at the rows or whatever it is, or pretending like they have the cowboy hat. I think it's bizarre, honestly, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to dance around like that. So, but anyway, I appreciate the rose. Can you apply for a work permit if you overstayed your visitor visa by 2 years? It's not so much the work permit. Well, what do you mean by work permit? Work visa, or are you eligible for adjustment of status by any chance? Because work permit is typically tucked in with like an actual adjustment of status case for residency. Okay, so happy to chat. Okay, Tracy, give us a call or DM us the code VISA. So I'm trying to remember the codes because I change them every day. Okay, Tasha, you're an asylee waiting on GC. Can you apply for a U.S. passport once you get approved? Yes, you can. As soon as you get that approval notice 797 approval notice. Oh no. Sorry, I was thinking that you applied for N400. No, you cannot. You can only apply for a U.S. passport when you become a U.S. citizen. All right, so that's going to be another 5 years after you become a resident. Okay, that was a good trick question that you likely did not do intentionally. How long does it take for 45 to get approved? After I-130 was approved and you filed concurrently. Oh, you filed concurrently? Then probably tomorrow. If you just got an I-130 approval today, I don't know why it's like I don't think they sent it from two different offices, so you would think that they would mail it all at the same time. this is a clear example where USCIS, any typical government agency, should really think about saving paper, or just like, yeah, if they were had a line of just saving paper, they would think about like, why not just mail it together? So it's pretty strange. Miss Bode or Bode, you heard it's expensive to sue embassy for stalling on visa processing. I mean, I consider it as an investment, right? Um, I can't. I'm always happy to share the pricing on the channels, but I tried that last week and I got banned on TikTok. So give us a call or DM us, okay, Miss Bode or Bode. But I consider it as an investment because, and also we don't. A lot of people inquire with us, ask us, can we sue? Can we sue? We actually reject a lot of people. I'm sorry to use that word, but I don't. No one likes to be rejected, but we actually tell people, no, we can't file it quite yet. You got to wait 6 months. You got to wait a year, because some people call us and they wait. They just filed their petition 6 months ago. That's that's not long enough, unfortunately. Um, but I see a comment here on Kweku. I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name. John, you've been on admin processing for almost 3 months now. What should you do? Right. So that's an example. 3 months, we can start getting ready. But this recently, we do recommend waiting a bit more, at least 6 months. Okay. Recommend waiting at least 6 months and then we file. But some people are gung ho and ready to file sooner. And it's possible we could do that, but yeah, it also kind of depends which consulate embassy. All right. At this point, like Kwiku, you might have received something like or Miss Bode, I think you asked this question originally on TikTok. You may have received like a request to fill out a form, DS 5535, ask for the last 15 years of addresses or employers. It's freaking ridiculous. All your relatives, I think, living and deceased. It's just so ridiculous. So, anyways, for Kwiku, I would wait a little bit longer. But yeah, just give us a call. You know what you could do in the meantime is go to our website, greencardguys.com, scroll down, and at the bottom there's different guides. And basically a guide contains answers to common questions, step-by-step timeline, essentially to provide you more expectations. I'd like to think most of it's still up to date, but it could. But anyways, check it out. Go down there. Go down on the website and grab a copy of it. Okay. It's all free. We don't ask for any money on that. But you do have to provide your email if you don't mind. All right, Eris. After waiver is approved, how far away NVC to schedule appointment? So that's another $1 million question. In the middle between that is actually uploading financial documents. So actually, we got one a notification, an email today. I don't know why. Actually, not today. It was like 10 p.m. last night. They usually send it at night for some reason. I don't know what's up with their system, but it stated documentarily qualified. So when you upload those documents to the CEAC portal, the next thing to expect is the documentary qualified, or some people call it DQ'd. Then, in terms of when I get the interview date, I don't know. It could be like, I'm just guessing here based on a client experience and people that comment here on the shows. Average 6 months to a year. Sorry to say, Eris. So it could be 6 months to a year. However, NVC does allow expedite request. It's not like in bold and shown on their website, because of course they're not trying to get everyone to get their case expedited, but it is possible. But it's not for everyone. It depends on your situation. And being pregnant, some people ask us, being pregnant alone by itself, that fact is not enough. Okay. But I wish everyone the best in your pregnancy health. Malamori, Mari, hello again. Nice to see you. Your spouse and you're dating during your separation from prior spouses, and you're married 4 months after divorce, total dating 11 months before marriage. Is that an issue? Well, I mean, just based on the facts you provided, that's not an issue. We have plenty of clients that have been married before and got divorced. But in terms of that timeline, we've had timeline that was even shorter than that. So Um, you were dating during a separation. Yeah, that's fine. Um, but it depends. It may depend on it, like if you or your new spouse kind of how you got, like how soon you got the resident card, right? So it just depends on that timing as well. Like if you got the resident, if one of you got the resident card like in 1 year and then you got separated, then maybe the timeline's a little sketchy there. Um, but yeah, just depends. Hmm. But yeah, in between that the first marriage, or I don't know if it's your first marriage, but at least the marriage that you originally got the resident status, then you want to make sure that you have all the like as much bona fide marriage evidence on that. Okay. But yeah, assuming you're also a resident or one of you are a resident, you can file F for based on F2A category. And I was just looking, it's all mid-August right now, August 16th, and I was just looking earlier today on the visa bulletin for September, and it shows visa prior date of September 2023. So it's pretty much current, is what they're trying to say. All right. Hopefully that answers your question, which is a good moment for me to ask if you got some kind of value, you appreciate the way we share information, the answers. Please do it. Maybe one or two things. Tap the screen on TikTok, hit the heart on Instagram, the likes on Facebook and YouTube. But otherwise, if you actually talk to one of our CARES team specialists and you got really good customer service, please go to reviewtinglaw.com. We greatly appreciate it. If hopefully you do remember our team member's name, but if you put their name in there, they do get, leadership does provide them bonuses at the end of the month. Okay, we greatly appreciate it. All right, Diana, your question about changing employer, welcome to ask. Just go ahead and put your question in there. You're welcome, Malamari. Give us a thumbs up, okay? All right, appreciate it. My marketing team tells me that's helpful for algorithm. Otherwise, I wouldn't care about all these different numbers. Kevon, you have a visa renew appointment in your home country. Will that affect 45 decision? Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, you probably want to speak with a lawyer one-on-one on that because of intent issues. You already have the appointment? That's a tough one. Yeah, the intent issue might come up. That's going to be hard to say. And then if you get denied the visa renewal, then how are you going to come back to America, right? So you might want to talk one-on-one because this kind of question I don't like to share here answer because it could be different for other people, and some people might misapply it to their situation. Yo, honey, what happens to the case on 730 where your child gets over 21? Hopefully there. So first, you may know about this is something called Child Status Protection Act. So that is a law that Congress passed many years ago. So hopefully your child is protected by that. You might want to take a look, or DM us so we could take a look at the date of birth and all that and filing date. Okay. But yeah, I-730. I think I checked yesterday. Depending on service center, there's two of them that are working on this. I believe it was like 14 months. Another one was like 24 months. So we have sued the USCIS based on that for delays on that one. Okay. Diana on Instagram, got a question? Welcome to ask it. Alrighty. CC, doing your AOS by marriage. You have a work permit, but didn't do I-131. Now you got a flight. No, you got a flight attendant. What do you mean by that? You're a flight attendant? You got in a fight with a flight attendant? No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully not. By the way, folks, I don't know what it is, but post-pandemic or because of pandemic, a lot of us tend to be, I don't know. Some people are, a little quick on the temper. So that reminds me, just be kind to each other in general, and of course, especially on flights. Okay, especially on flights, please be kind to each other. I'm sure you've seen videos of people going a bit wild for no reason at all in Pierce. Job. Oh, you got flight attendant job. Okay, congrats. Will that make me get a 131 expedited? Nah, I can't guarantee that, but you might want to mention the reverse. If you lost a job and you're trying to get one, that's listed there. Oh yeah, you need the 131 for travel purposes. Okay, got it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can try to you can request an expedite request. You don't need to necessarily have the document on hand or proof on hand when you call in. USCIS.gov used to have, I don't think I haven't seen in a while, but the Emma website chat used to be the easier way to submit that request because they don't have it like our website where we have a contact form essentially. They don't have that. They make it more difficult for you. Um, they make it very difficult on purpose. And in general, when you call in, it's an automated bot. So it's freaking frustrating. Really, really frustrating. But you can try. I've said some crazy stuff to try to get through and didn't work. So it seems like every week, kind of like my secret code, they change it up. So Emily on YouTube asked, can you keep your consular processing employer-based case while also filing 45 inside the US? I'm assuming you say 485, meaning, yeah, like family-based. Yeah, you can have two different because the intent is the same at least for immigrant intent. You could do that. See which one's faster. They love your money. Okay, they love your money filing fees. So yeah, they're not going to stop you on that. All right, Melissa, TikTok. By the way, folks, if you don't mind, give us a follow on whichever channel that you're watching us on. We greatly appreciate it. And if you know someone who, like a friend, enemy, your buddy has a question, or you're going through this consideration of filing for the case, or they have some kind of problem in their case, please share our channel. We greatly appreciate it. It would mean the world to us, but also to your buddy. What are your options for a family of four to move to US legally and open business? Yeah, so a lot of people have like probably searched and stumbled upon like EB5, that's investor visa for 800,000 minimum. I don't recommend that unless of course you have 800,000 you could just throw away essentially because it has to be at risk. But for others, E2, E1 or E2 visa, and I also like to call it like a startup. It doesn't have to be startup, but for essentially for like business owners. But it depends on your country of nationality. And so for some folks, you may have like more than one because of your passport. Um, so DMS, okay. Um, family of four, forgot what your username was, but DMS visa and mention E2, and we'll send you the guide for that. Let's see. How long, Zemi? What's up, Zemi? How long after green card interview should you receive the green card? Yeah, that's $1 million question also, because some people have waited a long time. Fortunately, we haven't had to sue on that, so that's a good thing. But some people have had to wait like almost a month. But generally, for most people, it's maybe like a week later on average after your approval notice. It doesn't always come at the same time as your approval notice, the paper, like the 8.5 by 11. All right. You would think they would just use one envelope, but nah, they don't do it that way. All right, Diana, I see your question on IG. Thanks for staying tuned because Instagram, y'all gotta pick up the pace. Your husband on algorithm. Your husband changed employer and is very different occupation classification. What should you do? They're waiting for approval notice. I-130 for alien relative. Diana. So it sounds like there's a couple options for your husband. One through employment, and one through you maybe as a U.S. citizen or resident holder. Um, well, have you? Well, you asked a question, but now I got a question, Diana. So your husband is on H-1B? I'm assuming. Um, is that right? And then also, so if that's the case, then your husband is in America and entered with a visa legally or entered legally, then you can file 45 also. All right. But yeah, in general, I think I asked Emily's question earlier. He can have two applications going at the same time. One for employment if you want to do H-1B change of employer, even though it's a different occupation, it still is possible as long as that occupation can be matched or related to the degree. So that's the catch there. Okay. But otherwise, if that's not possible, then he needs to find a different job or different title that's related to his degree. But he might be able to get a family-based sponsorship through you. It sounds like if you're whether you're a resident or a citizen. Okay, DM us. Okay, Diana. Visa is the code for today. Okay, user, you're on H-1B and you had other visits on a tourist visa. Any options? Oh, your mother. Okay, your mother visited you on a tourist visa. Any other options for her to be here with you? Unless she wants to start her own business, like an E1 or E2 business, and if the country of nationality is eligible. We call it treaty trader countries. So we have a free guide on that. DM us if you're interested in a free guide and you just don't have time to go to our website and all that. That's cool. Just DM us visa and also which type, like family based, investor, employment based. By the way, generally speaking, we talking about employment based. It means a company is going to sponsor you. Okay. Okay, Diana, you're. Oh, he's a citizen. So are you the person who needs to be sponsored? So then are you Diana? Diana, so there's a lot more follow-up questions I have for you. So DM us Visa and we'll get one of our team members will get you scheduled, okay? And so make sure we get the right pathway going for you because it sounds like maybe you could do more things to get your status sooner. Maybe I'm wrong, but we we have more questions. FM0608, what is the average cost of a lawyer for help with I-130? It's hard to say because it depends on the where that lawyer is located. So like someone in California is going to be in New York, East Coast, West Coast, going to be more expensive than us because we're in Houston. Just generally speaking, cost of living. I don't have to just human nature and business. Like you don't have anyway. It's going to cost less for us. I just can't share on the channel. I tried the other day and I got banned. So just contact us and we'll let you know. First of all, verify your legal strategy. Stinku89, I-130 pending for almost a year. And the tech service on anything you get done. Maybe expedite request, but again, it's not for everyone. And even people that we thought would have been granted the expedite request, maybe at least last year or earlier in the year, they were not granted it. They were denied the expedite request. So again, just being pregnant by itself, which is a huge endeavor, is not good enough, not sufficient. Not sufficient for expedite request. All right, Aris, you've been waiting for waiver since 2018. Yeah, we got a couple clients like that too, and they just chilling. They don't want to file mandamus lawsuit, even though we recommend it. It's now at the new office that got transferred. How soon we can get approval? So I haven't heard anyone getting approved after the case got transferred. I believe the transfer notices started for waivers started in May this year. So what is that? 3 months ago? That's math right? May, June, July, August. So 3 to 4 months. And everyone I've talked to, their clients, my lawyer colleagues, friends, they haven't had one case approved since transfer notice. So everyone is frustrated. I get it. So you got to take action. Okay. You got to spend a little more money. It's an investment. It depends on everyone's budget, of course. But we do help with getting your case, get your case decision sooner. I can't promise approval. Depends on your lawyer or your case information, but this is what could happen. After you sue, people always ask, will my case get denied? No, it depends. You could get denied because of what you provided before, but you wouldn't get denial just because you sue the government. Because if they wanted to deny your case, they would have done that a long time ago. Okay, but this goes to show that what's it called? I just lost my train of thought because I was looking at another question. Just goes to show that USCIS or other government agencies related to immigration are slow and they don't care. So they're going to do what they do until you sue them. Do we accept Met Law? I think you mean MetLife. That's one of the insurance networks that we're part of, which, by the way, especially for those at MetLife, people on there I think are misguided. So hopefully if you work for MetLife for this insurance network, can you change the phrasing that you tell people? Because they've been telling people that your insurance coverage, legal insurance coverage covers everything for attorney's fees. It doesn't. They only give a credit towards our attorney's fees, and every attorney has different fees. We don't have separate fees. We keep the same fees whether you're from MetLife, a different insurance network, or just private, like similar to health insurance. But we charge everyone the same. We are not like insurance companies or hospitals where the pricing changes depending how you found out about us. We don't do that. We just keep everything the same depending on the case. Okay, the case type. Hi, you did. We got about 4 to 5 more minutes, by the way. So if you ask a question I can't get to, oh my God, you guys are amazing. 99 new message on TikTok, questions on there. Thank you so much. Appreciate your trust in our answer. Please DM us, especially if you're at work or you're driving. Some people told me that they find us on the live show feed and they're driving. So, but when you get a moment, DM us, okay, the code VISA, and your consultation, if you're qualified for a free one, will be prioritized, okay? Because we're booked up a couple weeks by now. So, but some people have to go back to work. God bless them going back to work, especially in the office is what I mean. Did your citizenship interview, you had your citizenship interview in April, still no summer, what do you do? It's April to August, yeah. If it's been, so about 6 month mark, then we will sue. Okay, so what is it, October for you, I believe, if my math is right. We've had to do that. At least 6 months, I'd wait on that. And try to call USCIS, because then it shows that you tried, okay? Maybe submit an inquiry if you haven't already. Hopefully it lets you. Hi, if you apply for U visa today, how long would it take to get your work permit? So the bona fide determinations for U visa seem to be about average 1 year. But yeah, because that will, with the Biden administration, they will let you apply for work permit after that. How important are testimonial letters in O1 cases? Well, I like to rephrase that. It's more like reference letters. I believe they're important. Yeah, they want to show that, demonstrate that you're basically qualified, that you know what the hell you're doing, essentially, more or less. Does emailing the embassy help move your case along? No, unfortunately. I know it's stupid because the responses that people have shared with us, it is like, unfortunately, hilariously stupid. Like they just say like, oh, your case is, they just repeat the same thing, or some say like, oh yeah, we're gonna work on it soon. Hang out, we're gonna work on it soon. I mean, of course, I'm just phrasing it a different way. Or background check, still doing that. And then you may consider Miss Bode, you may be like, well, can I contact my congressperson? Sure, you can try, but they would generally say the same thing that the consulate embassy would say the same thing to you. So it's super frustrating. They all basically copy and paste. So mandamus lawsuit is typically the answer for most people. So I don't know how long you've been waiting. Did you have the interview ready, or where are you at? Where's your case at? I got 1 minute left on Instagram. I don't know why. Oh, it's because I put a focus thing on my screen time. That's a good thing. I really got to focus on mental health on less screen time. Okay, Diana, don't forget to DM us. Let's see here. Wow, 1,000 likes on TikTok. Thanks, guys. That means a lot. Appreciate it. But if you could take it a step further and follow us, okay? And also share our video down here, okay? We greatly appreciate it. Share it to anyone. It's okay. You can share it to anyone. How long does it take to get a visa interview? Oh, shoot, I missed that. Sir, what if you've been financially abused, etc., by your spouse? How can you prove it to file VAWA? Text message is typically the best. Or I mean, any kind of communication, but pretty sure you're not emailing your spouse about it. So text message, like, because we've heard stories like this, our own clients, like, it's just very unfortunate. I've known friends that had this situation where they've been stuck in this cycle of abuse, including financial. And it's basically like you feel like you have to get permission to. Oh, Instagram got me out. You have to you have to get permission from your spouse to spend money, and so this is 20. I gotta look at I was looking for the time. 2023. I know some people might be thinking, well, why are others not have to ask for permission, right? So it's very frustrating. I hope you're able to get out of this situation for yourself. But and by the way, folks, if you have been a victim of abuse in any shape or form, manner, and you need a contacts for a shelter, really not just for living somewhere else physically, but also need help with safety planning, DM us. Okay, DM us safety plan. All right. And by the way, make sure all your phone, like if your spouse checks your phone, make sure your apps have like a different password or something. Just take a moment to change all that, make it private. It's just very important. Your safety is very important. I wish everyone the best on that, but you got to take action and make sure your life is you consider your own life to be very important. So I know it sounds silly that I'm mentioning this out loud, but um, you matter, okay? Not your spouse. If you had to pick someone, pick yourself. And I know, again, it sounds silly, but we've had people say, like, oh, I don't want to call the police on my spouse. Look, worry about the police later. If there's no current incident, obviously not because you're on the live show. But if, if it happened in recent past or something or a long time ago, just find a place to live that you're safe and your spouse, and I've heard like horrible stories, obviously. So that's why I'm sharing all that. But I've heard stories like about not to make you like paranoid or anything, but tracking devices. I mean, so just make sure you're protected. All right, Nita, I think your question could be the last one. Hi, my case was at NVC, but NVC returned it back to USCIS. What should you do? Ooh, my goodness. So maybe it's because notice of intent to revoke. How did you know about that? Is that what they showed on the case status online? Sometimes it might say, if they say like case file moved back and they don't say specifically notice of intent to revoke, that's probably what it is. So that tends to happen more so for employment-based cases. But either way, we're happy to help. So yeah, let our team know. Okay, DM us. The code is Visa. All right, Herson, yours is the last one. Okay, Maria, don't post another one. Otherwise, I feel obligated to answer. How long is the longest processing time for marriage green card? Depends if you're a citizen or resident. You apply last year, 2022 May. Oh my goodness. So safely assuming you're a U.S. citizen, and you filed all the forms, like especially the I-130 and the 485, then yeah, I mean, it's nothing. You didn't do anything wrong, but it's more about USCIS prioritizing. Unfortunately, they should not be doing this, but they should be prioritizing people who filed, like their case are filed a long time ago, and not the more recent one. So it's pretty strange, but yeah, hopefully, I don't know if that helps. I'm just sharing context. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Maria. Appreciate it. Hey, everyone, tap the screen for the hearts and likes. Give us a thumbs up because throw it up. Shout out to Maria. Really, really appreciate it. Okay. She works hard to keep me sane and not squint. So appreciate it, Maria. Appreciate the marketing team. And with that in mind, today's Wednesday. I will see you all live tomorrow. Okay. Don't be shy. Give us a call. Take care.